and Hamas now holds ahead of a critical day for both sides, where preparations are underway for the release of all of the hostages that are still held in Gaza, both alive and dead. There are reportedly over 40 of them, along with freeing of around 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. Israel says it expects the 20 living hostages to be released together, and among the Palestinian detainees are about 1,700 people seized by Israeli forces from Gaza during the war and held without charge, as well 250 convicted prisoners, many of them members of Hamas and the Fatah faction. Now, some of them were jailed over shootings, bombings and other attacks that killed or targeted Israelis. They are expected to return to Gaza and to be sent to exile. This comes 737 days since the hostages were first taken after the 7th of October 2023 Hamas-led attack on Israel, which killed around 1,200 people and saw about 250 hostages being taken. Meanwhile, humanitarian aid that is ramped up for Gaza, much of which lies in ruins after nearly 2 years of war. 400 trucks from Egypt are now being readied for entry at Rafah, and all of this subject to Israeli inspection. Israel's defense body overseeing Gaza says it is up to nearly 600 trucks a day that will soon be allowed into the strip under the ceasefire treaties. Now, when it comes to the deal maker, who is the U.S. President Donald Trump, he's also expected to arrive in Israel for a brief visit before heading to Egypt. Donald Trump, who has played a central role in pushing for the ceasefire deal, will be in the region just for a few hours.
Friends, this is going to be a good one. So this is going to be a very special time, and I guess if you read your own papers and your own networks, everybody's very excited about this moment in time. So I'll see you on the plane. I think you're traveling with us, but this is a very special event. There are 500,000 people yesterday and today in Israel, and also the Muslim and Arab countries are all cheering. Everybody's cheering at one time. That's never happened before. Usually if you have one cheering, the other isn't. The other is the opposite. This is the first time everybody is amazed and they're thrilled, and it's an honor to be involved, and we're going to have an amazing time, and it's going to be something that's never happened before. So I'll see you on the plane, and we're going to have a good time. Okay, Peter? Nice to see you. Thank you, everybody. See you in a little while. See a lot of my...
Well, Srinjoy is connected with us. Srinjoy, the anticipation is now building. It's going to be a historic day and a moment when it comes to this exchange that would be taking place from two sides. But more importantly, you know, when it comes to these hostages that are going to be returned, 20 of them are believed to be still alive. Does their family, or do their family know who exactly are alive, rather who would be returning home finally after 2 years, and the rest of them which are believed now to be dead?
Yes, 20 hostages are still alive. Now, that apart, some bodies will also be returned to the Israeli families. Now, it must be said that the families are saying that even we want the bodies back. That's very important. That will give us a final view, a final sort of ending of this whole tragedy. So apart from that, of course, these 20 hostages are coming back. And that's such an important moment, because they have been hostages from the 7th of October. And that means that they've been in the middle of all this fighting, hidden away in some little dungeon for 2 years. And that's a long time. They are really hoping to come back. And all of Israel is waiting for them. 20 hostages will be returned. Some Gazan prisoners will be returned. A few Hamas people in jail in Israel are going to be returned. But the focus will be on the 20 hostages that were taken on the 7th and 8th of October.
Yes, Srinjoy, pictures that are now coming in, live pictures, especially when it comes to the Israelis who are now draped in Israel's flag. And now this anticipation that has been building, because as you said, especially for those families who believed that their loved ones who were captured by Hamas 2 years ago are no longer alive, but will actually give give them a final goodbye or a closure to receive their bodies, but 20 of them who are said to be alive, this exchange would be taking place shortly. But those 20 Israeli hostages are said to be freed as part of the ongoing ceasefire agreement. Meanwhile, the United States has invited India to take part in this high-level peace summit in Gaza, alongside more than 20 other world leaders. Now, due to on short notice, Prime Minister Modi has declined this invitation. Instead, India will be represented by the MOS for External Affairs, Kriti Vardhan Singh, who will be attending this summit in Egypt on behalf of the government of India. So let's get you the details exactly when it comes to the representatives who all are now traveling, especially to Egypt. President Donald Trump earlier had said that he would be scheduled to arrive in the Middle East. He has a visit to Israel. Thereafter, when it comes to in Egypt, where the finalization for a lasting peace in the region, for a ceasefire, this is where, when it comes to the countries and their representatives, held an important meeting, and they are going to be the ones who have played an important role in getting this ceasefire done in the 2 years of this war and conflict that happened in the Middle East. Donald Trump there, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who is the Egyptian president, their role that is also being acknowledged. Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, who is Qatar's emir. As far as when it comes to the other leaders who have also played a major role, Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian National Authority, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, Erdogan, who is the Turkish president there. As per reports, their presence would be registered. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Giorgia Meloni, Italian Prime Minister, Antonio Costa, who is the European Council President, all expected to be present. Mark Carney, we are looking at Canada's Prime Minister, Antonio Guterres, who is the UN Secretary General, Shehbaz Sharif, Pakistani Prime Minister there, who is also expected to be present according to reports. Multiple of these world leaders who had actually gone ahead, much to the disappointment of the United States, to rather recognize the state of Palestine. But when we speak of who will not be attending this Gaza Peace Summit in Egypt, well, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, Israeli representatives who are also expected not to be present. Representatives from Hamas also not going to be there. The Iranian FM is going to be there. The Iranian president is also expected to be not there, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India. But the Prime Minister, the moment when it comes to this Gaza peace deal that was struck, this had been a welcome move as far as Prime Minister having a word both with President Trump and the Prime Minister of Israel. India's stand that has been welcoming as far as this exchange, these talks, these dialogues that have happened over the years that we are looking at, Srinjoy, that has now yielded results. India has always maintained that peace is the only way to move forward. However, as far as India's representative is concerned, he's going to be present there in Egypt for the finalization of the peace deal, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not expected to visit.
There have been similar instances before. You remember Sadat and Begin meeting. That was perhaps seen as the first opportunity and the first piece of evidence of people in the Middle East wanting peace. And while there was real desire from both sides, it didn't end in peace. Then you had Rabin and Yasser Arafat meeting. And again, that didn't really work out. Now you have another opportunity to make peace. Yes, there is peace at a certain level. The Egyptians and the Israelis recognize each other, and there have been no hostilities between these two countries from since 1973. But apart from that, there has been enough trouble in the Middle East. And this is another opportunity for for peace in the Middle East. Let's see if the Middle East gets third time lucky. Because if it does, it will be good for the Palestinians, good for Israel, good for the Middle East, good for the world.
Well, absolutely. Rishabh is also connected with us. Rishabh, we are looking at these pictures that are now coming in. Israeli families for 2 years who have been waiting to welcome, especially when it comes to the last of the 20 living hostages from Gaza, and to mourn the return of the dead in exchange of the breakthrough ceasefire that has been finalized after 2 years of war.
Well, definitely, if we talk about Tel Aviv, this place we did visit on the first anniversary of October 7 massacre, as well, and the way the families since then have been waiting for their loved ones, their daughters, their sons, their husbands, their fathers for that matter. Now it is a closure for them as well. We did meet many of these families as well in last 2 years, and their stories remain afresh with reporters like me who were there in Tel Aviv as well as on the borders of Israel and Gaza, and we have seen it firsthand how things unfolded after October 7th. Now that we look back, we do see that these hostages who are coming back, how long they have been in Hamas's custody remains to be seen from here on what happens later today, how the peace deal go forward. But yes, once the hostages are back, the road to peace will be easier and more simpler.
Absolutely. As far as when it comes to multiple of the bodies and the living hostages that are likely to be exchanged now, that would be taking place. We have seen the previous exchange that had happened, Shinjoy, that exactly led to even more conflict in the region because Hamas having backside as far as when it comes to the agreement of the ceasefire deal is concerned. Conflict continued, but even to this ceasefire deal that is now reached, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is of the opinion that security challenges will still remain.
Yes, they may still remain, but at least this is a beginning. Think of what has happened before that. There was that horrible October 7th attack which led to the death of 1,200 people. Very young people, most of them. Then you had the Israeli attack on Gaza, and so far about 50,000 people have been killed in this attack. Yes, the Hamas has largely been eliminated. At least that's the report we get. Some of the leaders have been eliminated. Most of them actually have been killed in the fighting. But apart from that, a lot of women and children have died in the fighting. And it's better that the war ends, that there is a supply of food coming in from the Egyptian side, and most importantly, the reconstruction of Gaza takes place because it's just rubble. Much of Gaza is really rubble. And now is an opportunity, now that there is peace. Let the survivors, let the thousands of people who have survived pick up the pieces.
Well, both living and dead as far as when it comes to the hostages. Multiple of them who are also said to be of foreign origin who were taken and who were captured by Hamas 2 years ago. We are looking at this exchange, including that of the Palestinian prisoners, that would be taking place, and a host of leaders coming from multiple countries, especially the role that the United States this time has played, that is being welcomed from both sides. We'll see how it plays out when the hostage deal would happen. The exchange would happen in a short while from now. But, Shinjoy, there's another part there, because as far as the ceasefire deal is also concerned, Israel is also, about to release over 2,000 Palestinians. And some of them who have been held during the, the Gaza war. But many of them are of the opinion within the administration that there are hardened criminals, and even part of the Hamas would exchanging them or releasing them. How does it play out for Israel?
This has happened before. This has happened many times before. Very often, one Israeli soldier who was captured was given back, and in exchange, maybe 200 people were also released. So it's not something new. This has happened before. The Gazans who were arrested during the fighting for a variety of reasons. They are not, as you, to use your phrase, hardened criminals. Certainly not. Some of them may have been arrested for smaller issues. Now, of course, they will be released, and some people from Hamas are also going to go out. So as a result, the most important point to note is that 20 of the hostages who have lived through very difficult times while there was fighting overhead are now
Well,
going
two
to come
pictures that
back.
we are showing on our screens, Shinjoy, the pictures of families there waiting in anticipation. They too have been holding protest and demanding for the early release of the hostages and the 20 of the live hostages that we are looking at. Finally, they will be returning home. However, humanitarian organizations also saying that they are preparing to surge aid into the Gaza Strip, especially that has been in short supply in many of the areas. So this is going to be a historic day, a historic moment that is going to be witnessed all over the world. Thank you very much, Shinjo. We'll come back to you. These developments that are now coming in, we'll be keeping an eye out back after a short break. You're watching Times Now.
Wow, new TVS Jupiter?